Let's open up our data panel and we'll double click on our battery charger part just to open it in a separate tab. So if we double click on that, we'll see that it'll open the document, and now we have a new tab here which shows our charger. Okay, we can close our data panel now. And this was our original design. So we can go back and forth between what we have in our new design and in our original. So in this original design, we have access to our timeline where we can make changes. So let's see how this works. If I double click on that first sketch, we have access to that sketch. And we can see, for example, the diameter of this hole that we created. In this case, it was 3.8 millimeters. And if you recall, we then made every other hole equal to this one. So each of these circles, their diameter is linked to this circle because we made this circle equal to this one, and then we mirrored these two to the bottom. So if I change this diameter, every one of them should change. So let's make this something a lot smaller. So we'll do 1 millimeter in diameter, and we'll click Stop Sketch, and we'll see how that drastically changed the hole size. All right, what I'm going to do here is click Save, click OK, and then I'm going to go back to our enclosure case. Notice I have a little flag here, and it says the component is out of date. Update to the latest version using get latest in the model environment. I get the same flag up here. If I hover over it, it says the same message, one component is out of date. Click here to update all the out of date references. So I can simply click on that icon and watch our part here, how it's going to update, and now we see our holes have changed to reference our original part. So that's how you would go about making changes. You simply go back to that original part, make the changes, save it, bring it back, and update it. So let's undo that because I don't want those holes to be that small. So I'm gonna click undo a couple times here to bring it back to the original size, which is 1.9 millimeter in diameter. Or in this case, another thing to point out, it could be a little tricky. When I click on my circle here, it gives it to me in radius. And if I go into that sketch, that radius or that dimension is in diameter. So it gives me the diameter here, which is 3.8. Stop sketch, if I click here, it gives it to me in radius. So just something to be conscious about. Okay, so if we go back to that enclosure case, well, it doesn't show anything yet because I didn't save it. So let's go back again to our original part, click Save, click OK. And then once we save it and go back to that new design, again, we get that same message. We'll just click on that flag and our part is now updated. If we did want to have the ability to modify this part within this design without going back and forth, we do have the option of unlinking it. So if I click on the battery charger here, if I right click on it, I have the option to break link. So I'm going to try that to show you what it does. We'll go to break link. Now we see we don't have a chain there anymore. And I have the option to go ahead and activate this component. And if I look at our timeline, I can click on the little plus sign here. And you can see I have access to that timeline. So now I can double click on that first sketch and it'll let me go ahead, change that diameter, stop sketch. And as you can see, it went ahead and updated. We'll go ahead and activate the top part of our browser now to have everything come in. And so that's two ways you can change the designs when you're working with components. We can either have it so that it's linked, only linked where it'll allow us to move the part around, but we can't change the part, and we can only change it by going back to the original design. Or we have the option of breaking the link, and that will break the association between the two designs and allow us to automatically make changes here. So since I broke the link, there is no association between this part and this part now. It's a completely separate part within this design. I'm going to undo that to have it so that they're linked And if we come across the design any time where we do need to break the link, then we'll go ahead and do that. So I'm gonna undo a few times until I see that link back, and I'll click save.